we have to see Prana Shrestya Adhikaranam. See, prana does not mean just air. Even though it is very essential to be alive, prana does not mean just air. Prana means the physiological functions, the capacity. Truth's existence in equation with the body facilitates eating, drinking, digesting, breathing in, breathing out. That equation with the form, truth's equation with the form, God's equation with the form, truth's equation with the form, truth's contact with the body. It's not a contact, it's equation. Let me continue. Truth's equation with the form facilitates all the physiological activities. But we think all the physiological activities facilitate the presence of the self in the body. This is the difference between Laukika thinking and Vedantic thinking. Truth's presence in equation with the form facilitates all the physiological functions. It facilitates living and everything for doing. It's not the physiological functions are not there, then the man leaves. Aisa nahi. When the prarabdha is over, Swamiji, supposing we have to think of a pratipatti krama between departure and the death of the body. Which is first? Pratipatti krama. Not kala krama, pratipatti krama. If you talk about the logical sequence between departure of the soul from the body and the death of the body, I would say departure of the soul from the body. When the prarabdha is exhausted, the soul departs. When the soul departs, the body automatically dies. Whereas Laukika thinking is that when the body dies, the soul departs. Because what is right thinking? Just the ulta of the universal thinking. Is another clue to the right thinking. Another clue to the right thinking is the ulta of the empirical thinking. It's the reversal of it. And therefore prana, when we say prana shabda used by Vedanta, does not mean just air. Prana means prana shakti. The 5 prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, this faculty, 5 faculties. To breathe in, the capacity to breathe in, to breathe out. What you breathe in and what you breathe out is not prana. That you breathe in, the breathing capacity in, the capacity to breathe out, the capacity to eat, whatever principles are there, the laws are there, that physiological functions, eating, digesting, circulation, all this udana, everything. In English, they are called physiological activities, physiological functions, involuntary functions. Involuntarily I breathe, involuntarily I breathe out. Involuntarily I swallow, and what is swallowed doesn't go into the lungs. Involuntarily I swallow into the stomach. Digestion takes place involuntarily, circulation takes place involuntarily. This involuntary physiological activities of the body is called prana. It is directly in touch with the truth. Meaning it is the truth identified with the form. It is the truth that is identified with the body is what is called. It's called jiva. And in the presence of the truth, in equation with the form, there are certain physiological functions. And that Shakti, the energy, the physiological energy, the faculty, is what is called Mukhya Prana. Mukhya Prana. Why do you call this physiological activity Mukhya Prana? Because even the sense organs are called pranas. They are Ekadasha pranas. All the five senses are pranas. And Pancha pranas are pranas, which are called Pancha pranas. They all come under the Mukhya Prana. And mind, Antahkarana, make it 10. 11 prana. This is called Ekadasha Pranas. There is a term called Ekadasha Prana, the great number called the 11 pranas. Ekadasha Pranas, which is mentioned in the Shruti. Ekadasha Prana means 5 plus 1, 6 plus 5, 11. These Ekadasha Pranas are called pranas, but out of them, the this Mukhya Prana is Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, with 5 ramifications. Prana has 5 limbs: Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana. When you talk about Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, they do not mean air. They mean Prana Shakti, physiological activity. And there was a big debate among the pranas. Who is superior? Then Prajapati says, all right, let us decide right here. Chakshu, leaves. Jiva continues to live. Iya tries to leaves, but Jiva continues to live. Deaf, one lives on. Blind, one lives on. Dumb, one lives on. You understand, You can't smell properly, you can live on. You have no sense of taste, you can live on. You can still eat out of hunger. When you are hungry, you don't bother about the taste, ji. Why are all the restaurants are running? Because people at 12 o'clock feel hungry. And when they enter the restaurant, you don't have to do anything, you just sit down, padosa jata hai. And what can be a greater luxury than that? सामने थाली आती है, cups आ जाते हैं, spoons आ जाते हैं, all that you have, and then there is a napkin also, and the pani also. I tell you, this is the biggest. Bani thali samne ana is the greatest luxury for the jiva. You don't have to do anything, you have to only eat. When he is hungry, does he think of the taste? No. He just eats. मिल का आटा का तंदूरी रोटी एक के बाद एक अंदर चले जाता है. Later on he will feel the effect. That is a different matter. Without the taste also one can live on. Then Prajapati said, none of you, eyes are not superior, because without them also man can live. Ears are not superior. Speech is not superior. Sense and smell, touch, these are not superior. You touch it and you don't know what is it. Even then you can survive on. There are many jivas who can survive on without anyone. And then he says, Mukhya prana, leave. Mukhya prana tends to leave. Then all the faculty said, my God, without you we will not survive. Please don't go, don't go. Then it is decided, Mukhya prana is superior. These faculties are not superior in comparison to Mukhya prana. ठीक है? Therefore, Sreshthascha. Sreshthascha means this Mukhya prana is Sreshta. Among all the 5 faculties, eyes, ears, taste, touch and smell, of these 5 sense organs, eyes are considered to be netra, the leading sense organ. You can manage, that's why it is called netra. Netra means the leading, the neta. And among the 2 eyes also, Dakshinakshi is stronger. Unless you are a lefty, I don't know. But the Mandukya Karika says Dakshinakshi. Therefore, Dakshinakshini Purushaha. The truth is there in the right eye. The truth is there in the right eye is symbolic of saying it is in the eyes. And that symbolizes it is there in all the senses. And that symbolizes it is there in all faculties. And that symbolizes it is there in all perceptions. Therefore, Mukhya prana is most superior. Mukhya prana means the physiological energy. Yes, it is true, man is active due to physiological energy, not atomic energy. But it is physiological energy. The solar energy gets converted into physiological energy. That's why Mukhya prana is not a faculty. I mean, it's not another sense organ. It doesn't require another object. Because it is not a faculty for which there is an object. It is a karanam, not. It is not a indriya. It is not indriya. It is, if it were indriya, there would be another vishaya. Chakshu is an indriya for which there is a indriya vishaya. Ears are indriya for which there is a vishaya. 5 senses are 5 indriyas. And 5 indriyas have got 5 vishayas. Supposing you argue that Mukhya prana also, if it is an indriya, then it should have 6 objects. We say no, Mukhya prana is not indriya. It is a karanam, all right, but it's not indriya, rupa karanam. It in fact supplies energy to all the faculties. It is sreshta. But Mukhya prana, the 5 senses are in touch with the jiva. They are possessions of jiva. They are jiva's faculties. The 5 senses are the faculties used by the jiva. Jiva is a status. When you are talking to your wife, you are a husband. That is only a status, not another person. Person is the same. It's a different role. Jiva is a change of role as an individual with a sense of individuality. And with a sense of, so the 5 senses are used by the jiva. Whereas the Mukhya Prana is in the hands of the Absolute. It is Paramatma seen as Jiva, because involuntary things are not used by Jiva. The involuntary functions are not used by anything. It is directly adhyasa about the truth. Mukhya Prana. Dehoham, this sense. I am the Deha. I am a breather. I am an eater. I am a doer. I am an enjoyer. For all of them there is prana shakti. For kartrutvam I have to use energy. To enjoy I have to use energy. To think I have to use energy. To see, to hear, to taste, to touch, to smell. Even to die I need energy because I have to quit the body. Udana becomes active. If somebody, instead of saying, he is about to die, the better language is, unka udana vayu bad gaya hai. Udana vayu bad gaya means gaya. Matlab he is about to go. So, acha khata, acha khasa, living man, if you run down like this, it looks as though your udana vayu is going up. Means what? You are about to die. Therefore, even for dying, you need energy. To quit the body, you need energy. You have to think. Let me die, let me leave. That will is there. Whatever it is, but at least functions while being alive. Require energy. And that energy is from the bhoktrutvam. Meaning, I have to consume things. I have to consume things in order to get that energy. And in order to consume the things, I have to be in equation with the body. That is also involuntary, means I find myself with. I find myself with the equation with the form. I find myself with breathing. I find myself with seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling. I find myself with moving, coming back, pravritti, nivritti. I find myself with thinking. Therefore the voluntary action is rooted within the involuntary existence, involuntary functions. One's presence in one's body is not voluntary. If you live in your house, it is your decision. But your presence in the body is not your decision. I find myself in it. I find myself with it. It is not voluntary. It is not by choice. Voluntary means by choice. Involuntary means choiceless. But it is an involuntary function. It's not involuntary, choiceless existence. Choiceless existence, eternity is not called involuntary existence. Voluntary and involuntary are the two words are used for only functions. Therefore, what we call choice, it is rooted within the involuntary. You have come to the class. This decision to come to the class is voluntary. But it is within the realm of the involuntary functions, pravritti nivrittis. It is within the involuntary life, choiceless existence. It is within the choiceless equation with my life, swabhavikam. If I decide it is kritrimam, kritrimam means it's my action, it's my decision. Everything that is kritrimam is man's decision, man's choice. All kritrimam is rooted within the swabhavikam. Therefore, prana is Shrestha. All that I am talking is only about the Mukhya Prana, please. Mukhya Prana is an involuntary function with which I find myself. Call it involuntary function, call it Swabhavika function. It's not by my choice. It's a choiceless function. And this Mukhya Prana is considered really, in the Bhashyakara says, is the truth's pratinidhi. It is God's personal secretary. We saw it in somewhere in Bhashyam. PA, personal secretary. He is not even joint secretary. He is not an assistant secretary, he is a personal secretary. The sole secretary. Because Mukhya Prana is the gateway to the truth. Meaning, the very thought that I am the body is rooted in the truth. And therefore, it is the reality in equation with the form that is called you and me. Therefore, it is not Jiva's upakaranam, nor is it Paramatma's upakaranam. It is adhyasa about the Paramatma. Therefore, your physiological energy is very important, please. You don't have to give too much of attention to your looks. Your looks, nobody bothers. People look at you only when you are less than 50. After 50, nobody bothers about it. Therefore, don't be gullible. Don't be gullible. Don't be gullible before this dunya. Be smart. Be good, but be smart. Be intelligent. Therefore, work for your physiological energy. Your health is more important than your looks. Your looks are of no use to you. And after 50, they are of no use to anybody anyway, even for others. Whereas your health, you can use your health to know the truth. That's why Prana Shakti is the pratinidhi of, you only consult, you use the personal secretary to reach the truth, in that sense. You must have good health to live and think and know the truth. Tapasya was done by sages only for that purpose, to have good health so that they can think of the truth. Otherwise, what do you do with the health, ji? There is no difference between, really speaking, life and death. After death, he will take another form. The same truth will take another form. Supposing a person is alive and he doesn't study Vedanta, then what is he doing? He is enjoying and everything fades out and becomes absent. All my pleasures since childhood, they are a big zero. All the life's pleasures in death are a big zero. Therefore, it is not much of an achievement. Just because one lives a long life, it is not a big achievement. Therefore, life is sacred only when it is used to know the truth. It is valid. Life is useful, life is interesting only when it is used for the truth. And life means health. जान है तो जहान है जी. जान है तो जहान है कहते हैं ना. Health is wealth, they say, you know. If wealth is lost, nothing is lost, they say. If health is lost, something is lost. If mental peace, character is lost, means mental peace is lost, everything is lost. And therefore, health is important. Your values are important. And wealth also is important for survival. It is valid, but it has a third place. Okay, ji, thus Mukhya Prana is Sreshtha. There are two. Haji? Sreshtha and Jeshtha. There are two words. Sreshtha means superior. Jeshtha means the eldest. The one who is the eldest is Jeshtha. Like Brahmaji is Jeshtha. Jeshta Putra. And the Kanishta. Angushta. This is Tarjaniya. And what is this called? Madhyastha. And this is Angulikam. And this is called Kanishta. This is called Kanishta. Or maybe some other terms I don't remember. Kanishta means the youngest. Supposing a person has only one child, one son, then who is Jeshta? And who is Kanishta? Himself. Mukhya Prana is both Sreshtha and Jeshta. It is not given here. Because the first creation is only Dehoham. Next Sutra ji. Na vayu kriye prithag upadeshat. This Shastram is very beautiful ji. अगर अच्छा लगने लगेंगे फिर अच्छा ना लगने का बात ही नहीं है. It's all about our existence. Na vayu kriye. These pancha, when we say prana, it is not really any function of air. It's not a function of the air. The air blows. That's not called prana. Prana is the pratinidhi of Ishvara. The first creation, that is Dehoham, I find myself with Deha. That first thought, that Dehoham, presupposing this thought, Pratipatti Krama, presupposing this thought that I am Deha, are all the other thoughts. Pratipatti Krama, not Kalakrama. Aham Pratyaya and Idam Pratyaya. Aham Pratyaya, presupposing the Aham Pratyaya, are all the Idam Pratyayas. It is only Pratipatti Krama. Therefore, Dehoham is not a modification of air. Vayu kriye. Why? Prithag upadeshat. Because Vayu is mentioned separately, Prana is mentioned separately. And you can see Bhashyam if you have. Etasmad jayate pranaha. From the truth is born prana. Manaha, mind. Sarvendriyani cha. And all the indriyas. Kham Vayuhu. And Akasha and air. From Ishvara came the prana, from Ishvara came the air. That means air is different from prana. Prana is a faculty. Prana is an upakara. Prana is physiological. It is in touch with the embodiment. It is in the form of Dehoham. That is prana. Sometimes the word prana also is used in the sense of Paramatma. Pranabandhanam is saumya mana. Mind is tied to. It has its adhishthanam in Paramatma. Paramatma is its adhishthanam, and it is prana bandhanam, his saumya mana means mind is bracketed with the prana. Mind is bracketed with the prana. It has its existence in the Paramatma. Na Vayu Kriye, Pratyek Upadeshat. Because the Shruti makes a special mention, a separate mention for prana and a separate mention for Vayu. You can't be more clear than this, Ji. The Shruti is so clear. Ityevamadayope vayoho karanebhyascha pranasya pratyagupadeshaha anusartavyaha. Vayu is separately referred to, Indriyas are separately referred to, and prana is separately referred to. This itself shows that there is a difference between simple air and prana. Prana is the involuntary physiological functions are all called prana. Pranapana vyana udana samanaha. Next Ji. Chakshuradivattu tatsaha sishtyadibhyaha. You know, chakshuradivat, like chakshu, etc. Senses are not independent of the jiva. If there were no jiva, jivatma, that status of a jiva. As I told you, it is the same truth in embodiment is called jiva. Truth as truth is truth. It's not a situation, it's existence. But in the situation of embodiment, it is called a jiva. All faculties, eyes, ears, etc., they're all connected to the jiva. Jiva uses them. I see. Who sees? The jiva. In the situation of embodiment, I see. I use the eyes. I use the ears. I use the senses. Therefore, all the five senses are in the hands of jiva. They are dependent upon jiva. They are dependent upon jiva. That is why the senses can be considered as paratantras. Paratantra means they presuppose the jivas exist. That is called paratantrata. Paratantrata is like presupposing. Like the calf presupposes the cow, that is called paratantrata, dependence. The result depends upon the reason. The universe is paratantra because it presupposes the jiva. The senses presuppose the equation with the form. The sense objects also presuppose the equation with the form, the jiva. Therefore, all the indriyas depend upon the jiva being there. That means there has to be a situation like this. Only in the situation of marriage, you have got all this band, music. Not without that. It's all related to that situation. Jivatvam is a situation. It is a avidyaka role. It's not a fact. That you are a husband is a role. That you are a son is a role, not a fact. And when you say I am a human being, that is also a role. In equation with the human form, you say I am a human being. It is a role. When you are eating, you are eater, it's a role. When you are walking, you are a walker, you are a role. In fact, the entire life is a role. When you are fast asleep, you are not playing any role. You are only being there. A role is played, existence you don't play. Existence you are. You remain existent. Therefore, transcend all the roles, free from all the roles is your nature. Therefore, even to be an individual, that I am an individual is a role. And free from all that roles is the existence, which is the truth. Existence is independent of, is not a situation. Role is a situation. Therefore, the five senses depend upon the jiva. Sense objects also depend upon jiva. Therefore, in Pratipatti Krama, here you can understand which is the Pratipatti Krama between jiva and jagat. I say jagat presupposes the jiva. I have to have an error. I must find myself with as a form. Then I see the universe. I have the senses. That's why Bhashyakara says, without adhyasa, there is no pramatritvam. Without pramatritvam, no pramanas. No pramatru, pramana, prameya, bhava will not be there. Without the pramatru, pramana, prameya, bhava, there is no pravrutti, nivrutti. And every living being finds himself having pravrutti, nivrutti. There is a pravrutti, there is a nivrutti. That everybody has pravrutti, nivrutti shows that everybody, that pravrutti, nivrutti presupposes pramatrutvam. Pramatru, pramana, prameya, bhava. It is a realm of perception. It is not a realm of a simple matter. It is not a realm of simple matter. It is a realm of perception. Pramatru, pramana, prameya, bhava. And that cannot exist without the dehoham adhyasa. Therefore, pashvadi vishcha avisheshat. There Bhagavan says that even just as animals have got pravrutti, nivrutti, men also have pravrutti, nivrutti. This establishes man also has adhyasa. Animals also have adhyasa. Every living being has adhyasa. Every living being is the reality, the truth in a situation of embodiment. Therefore, the achievements in an embodiment, physical achievements mean nothing. If you see that it means nothing, if you understand, not believe, if you see it means nothing, that is great. Therefore, chakshuradivattu, just as the senses presuppose the jiva, tat saha, even mukhya prana presupposes the truth. Dehoham, that equation presupposes the truth. Tat saha. Along with mukhya prana, it is said, the five senses are not independent, and so is mukhya prana is not independent. But then both are not independent. But we have to understand, chakshuradi presupposes the jivatvam, whereas the mukhya prana presupposes the paramatma. Tat saha sishtyadibhya, they are taught together. Saha sishti. Sishti means upadesha, siksha. Tat saha, along with that. Sishti upadesha. Sense organs are always mentioned as aswatantras. Aswatantras. They are not independent. They are paratantras. Mukhya prana is paratantra, like even the senses. Why? Both are taught together. Where is it taught? Why don't you read it? Haji, I will read it. जीववत् स्वातंत्र्यं व्यावर्तयति यथा चक्षुरादीनीर राजप्रकृतिवत् जीवस्य कर्तृत्वं भोक्तृत्वं च प्रति उपकरणानि स्वतंत्राणि अस्वतंत्राणि बोलना चाहिए. दिस इज अ प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक. तथा मुख्योपि प्राणः राजमंत्रिवत् जीवस्य सर्वार्थकरत्वेन उपकरणभूतः न स्वतंत्रः. न स्वतंत्र, द नकार हैज टू बी देयर. You know, the minister does everything for the king. The senses do everything for the jiva. And the mukhya prana does everything for the Paramatma. Meaning presupposing Paramatma is the mukhya prana. Presupposing the mukhya prana are the senses. And presupposing the senses are the sense objects. Therefore, pratipatti krama is from within from within towards without. You don't begin there and come here. You begin here. Pratipatti krama. Like when you dream, it all wells up in you. It all happens in you. Perception happens in you. In fact, there is no movement in the truth because every movement also is a perception. And for perception you don't have to move. That means fundamentally there is no movement. The senses are dependent because they presuppose the jiva. Mukhya prana is also dependent on Paramatma because it presupposes the existence of Clear? Just as a mantri is a big man. See, this Bhashyakara is very meticulous. इतना तो दावत देना चाहिए उनको. He's a brilliant person. Like Aam Admi serves the king. Aam Admi serves the king. Mantri also serves the king. But Mantri serves very intimately. Aam Admi serves remotely. Similarly, senses serve the jiva. And Mukhya Prana serves the Paramatma. Why? Because without that Mukhya Prana, there is no equation. Presupposing the Paramatma is the Mukhya Prana. Therefore, Mukhya Prana is not a faculty serving the jiva. The senses are like Aam Admi, whereas Mukhya Prana is like a mantri, pratinidhi. Ishwar ka pratinidhi hai. See, this word is used by Bhashyakara, pratinidhi. Pratinidhi means his personal secretary. Because presupposing the truth is the embodiment. Not presupposing the jiva is embodiment. No. Presupposing the jiva are the senses. But presupposing the unlimited is the embodiment. And embodiment implies the Mukhya Prana. Okay, ji. Next sutra. Akaranatvacha na doshaha tatha hi darshayati. Akaranatvacha. Mukhya Prana is not another indriya. It's not karanam, means it's not like another indriya. Akaranatvat means anindriyatvat. ना इंद्रियत्वात्, इंद्रिय ना होने के कारण से। मुख्य प्राण इज नॉट लाइक अनदर सेंस ऑर्गन। ना दोषा, therefore if there is no sixth object, there is no flaw, there is no dosha. If there are only 5 elements connected to the 5 senses, and if you talk about the mukhya prana, there should be another object. No, because mukhya prana is not another indriya. It is a provider of energy to all the indriyas. It is a physiological thing. It is energy builder, energy creator. It is something that, like a mother, looking after all the faculties. Akaranatvacha na doshaha. If there is no sixth sense object, there is no dosha. Why? Because mukhya prana is not another indriya. Clear? Tatha hi darshayati. And that is why, and that is what he said, I say he dikhati hai shruti. And so, to the same effect, the shruti shows. Tatha hi darshayati. How does it show? Ataha pranaha aham shreyasi vyudiretyupakramya yasmin upa utkrante shariram papishtataramiva drishyate savah shreshta. जिसको छोड़ने से the body just collapses, वो है prana. If an indriya is not there, the body doesn't collapse. Whereas mukhya prana leaves, the kalevaram collapses. And that is the mukhya prana. There is a difference. You don't miss a sense organ. You can, without a given sense organ, you can still be alive, but without mukhya prana, you can't be alive. Thus discern. In that sense, mukhya prana is not an indriya. Tan varishtaha pranaha uvacha ma mohamāpadyatha ahameva etat panjadha atmanam pravibhajya etad bāṇam tadvāṇamashushtabhya vidhārayāmi iti cha evamevartham srutiraha. Therefore, prana says, don't be confused. O ye faculties, don't be confused. I am there. I will create energy and give you all of them, all of you. Don't worry. This is how the Veda says. It means what? Mukhya prana is that which is the provider of energy. शक्ति को देने वाला है सारी फैकल्टीज को. कस्मिन् अहम उत्क्रांते उत्क्रांतो भविष्यामि कस्मिन् वा प्रतिष्ठिते प्रतिष्ठास्यामि. जीवा सेज वेरी ब्यूटिफुली, मुख्य प्राण जब तक है तब तक मैं हूं, या मुख्य प्राण नहीं तो मैं भी नहीं हूं. जब just in doing the stuti of mukhya prana is something which is greater than all the senses. This is over. Next जी थोड़ा देख लेंगे. पंचवृत्ति मनोवद्व्यपदिश्यते. Mukhya prana has got 5 ramifications. Panchavritti. Any ramification is called a vritti. A vritti. Vritti means a thoda sa. Manifest. Even a role is called a vritti. Vritti ji. Similarly, that footprint, that footnote is also called vritti. Tika, tippani, vritti. Vritti means in something, somebody's view. Vritti, a thought. Here you can take Panchavritti. Mukhya prana has got 5 ramifications, 5-fold functions. prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Meaning all physiological activities come here. And Ayurvedic people always go into this prana and they say, आपका उदान बढ़ गया, प्राण कम है, अपान वायु बढ़ गया. They talk mostly udana and apana. The rest of the things they don't understand. Apana, vyana, udana, vyana and samana they don't understand. Digestion. Then they use another language, some other terminology they use. आपका पित्त बढ़ गया, कफ बढ़ गया, वायु बढ़ गया, like this. तो क्या करें? हमारे पास पुड़िया है, ले जाओ. Because a lot of people say, I am telling you, in this world, people are smart, and I think all those who are studying Vedantas are gullible, including the one who teaches is gullible. Because I find, suppose you go to some place, then you say, कितना चार्ज होता है जी? चार्ज तो बस 100-200 रुपये. अब सोचते हैं कि बहुत ही कम है, ठीक है, 100-200 रुपये ठीक है. बाद में कहते हैं ये दवाई भी ले जाना पड़ेंगे आपको, ये दवाई. He is just really selling medicines. This is only a bahana. It's a facade. These Ayurvedic people always, a doctor sits down there, कितना फीस है जी? बस 50 रुपये. जा, ये दवाई ले जाओ. He takes up from somewhere, pulls out the packets, says ये सब ले जाओ. कितना बिल पड़ा? 2500 रुपये. This is a very big thing. It's like my saying, क्लास क्या है? क्लास फ्री है, लेकिन आप डोनेशन दे दीजिए. ये प्रॉब्लम तो है, मैं तो कभी नहीं कहता ऐसा. I don't like that approach at all. I always say, don't ask anybody. Whatever comes is prasad. But generally दुनिया में होता है. To begin with, you sound so humble. But then later on, all that they have seen of you is only a tip of the iceberg. And then afterwards. Therefore, panchavritti, they have got pitta, kapha, vayu, etc., etc. But then the actual terminology of the ramifications of the mukhya prana are the entire physiological activity. Understand it that way. Eating, swallowing, digestion, circulation, keeping the temperature even, and udana, everything. All physiological activities. Anatomy is a simple look of the form. That is called anatomy. Therefore, the doctors in their training, they only dissect the anatomy. They can't dissect the living body. When the body is living, that living functions, they are called physiology. In Sanskrit, it is called prana, mukhya prana. It is the physiological functions that create energy and provide to all the faculties. Manovritti vat, like even panchavritti, the mukhya prana has got 5 ramifications. Like what? Manovat, like the mind. Mind is one, antahkaranam is one, but it has got many ramifications. It has only 4 ramifications, like manaha, buddhi, ahankaram, chitta. These are all called antahkarana. Meaning, there are functional names. It doesn't mean the mind also must have 5 ramifications. Panchavritti hi manovat ka matlab itna hi hai. Just as mind has ramifications, how many, that's not important. Mukhya prana also has ramifications. But supposing you try to explain away what is the fifth ramification of the mind, I don't think that is important. Manovat panchavrittihi means it has got 5 ramifications. It has got 5 facets, like mind has many facets. Vyapadishyate, and it is taught in the Veda. Manaha, buddhi, ahankaram, chittam, etc. These are all various thoughts. But if you want exactly the 5 ramifications of the mind, then Bhashyakara says, Panchavruttayaha evam pranasyapi ityartha. And some of the Ayurvedic people say, Panchavruttayaha evam pranasyapi. Shrotradi nimittaha shabdadi vishayaha manasaha panchavruttayaha pradita. We can take it this way. The mind has got perception of the form, perception of the sound, perception of the taste, touch, smell, panch ho gaya. And even some of the Ayurvedic people also say something. Panchavruttayaha parigrihente pramana viparyeya vikalpa nidra amritayaha. Nama is all not necessary. Yoga Shastra Prasiddhaha Manasaha Panchavrittaya Parigrihante. Pramana. This Yoga Shastra says Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Amrutaya. You see, Veda Vyasa never quotes Yoga Shastra. Please understand. When he says something, he always quotes the Veda. Vedic literature, some Vakya from the Vedanta, from the Veda he quotes. He would not take into account the Yoga Shastram. Because Tad Vyapadeshat, citation is not of another Pramanam. When you are analyzing the Veda Pramanam, you have to quote from the Veda Pramanam. Therefore, without taking into account what the yogis say, what the Ayurvedic people say, if you want to know exactly how the mind has 5 ramifications, then the 5 ramifications should be understood as 5 perceptions. Or the very approach should be different. Mukhya prana has 5 ramifications, like even mind has many ramifications. Bas. Clear, ji? And therefore, Mukhya prana is not one indriya. Mukhya prana is the entire activity. The living process is Mukhya prana. Living is Mukhya prana. Supposing it is Vayu Vikara, Vayu Kriya, into a dead man's lungs, you blow air. Is he going to become alive? I don't think so. All these ICU things are all before the death. When he is still there, you are playing with him. When he is not there, you can't play with him. You can't blow air and then say, get up, get up. In fact, even Jiva leaves. Not only when the Mukhya Prana leaves, when the Jiva leaves, when the Jiva's equation with the former leaves, Mukhya Prana also comes to an end. Because Jiva's equation with the form is determined by Prarabdham. Once the Prarabdham is exhausted sitting, man just goes. But in order to explain to the people, you say, he had a heart attack. So there is an excuse. Man always tries to understand the death in terms of the physical events. What happened that he died? He had a heart attack. He stopped breathing. This, that. He lost blood. All these things. But actually all these things happen because he is destined to live. Okay, ji, the next comes, the same Mukhya Prana is Anu. Anu means, please understand, it is not unlimited. In contrast to the truth, it has got a limited size. Mukhya Prana, like every role, is temporary. Your existence is eternal. Your roles are temporary. Your husband role is temporary for a few days. Son's role is for a few days. Father's role is for some time. All roles are temporary. Even the role of being a human being is temporary. But role is played, existence is. You can think about all these things. When you start thinking about all these things, it's great. This we will see in the next class. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.